You want to live in a small house, not be able to afford the things that you really want. How many of you want that? No? Okay. How many of you have heard an adult, whether it be your parents or a teacher, someone, tell you that life is too short? Raise your hand if you've heard that. Life is too short. Okay? I believe the exact opposite. I believe life is too long. Life is too long when you don't take advantages of your opportunities, especially in the classroom. Especially in the classroom. I believe that every day when you sit in the classroom and you're not getting what you need, that's a wasted opportunity. When I was in your shoes, I was looking forward to going to college, and I had this big plan. I had this plan about I'm going to graduate college, and I'm going to get this great job, and people are just going to throw money at me. I'm going to buy this huge mansion, and the first thing I'm going to buy is a baby tiger. And I'm going to name him Timmy, and me and Timmy are going to swim in my big, huge pool every single day. And that was my plan when I was leaving college. Now, obviously, that didn't work out quite like I had planned. My first job when I graduated from college, I worked for a distributor. And part of my job was I'd wake up every single morning at 3:30 in the morning, drive to Sam's Club, get there with all the stockers, and we would move boxes and merchandise all around the store all day long. I'd worked weekends, I worked double shifts a lot of the times during the holiday season, so it's not quite what I expected. So the message is that if all these things are happening, what are you taking advantage of in your classroom? If your dream and your goal doesn't quite work out the way you planned it when you step out into the real world, what should you be doing about it now to prevent that from happening? So what are you really risking? When you sit into your classroom and you don't say anything about what you're learning, you don't advocate for your education, you don't tell your teacher, I'm really not understanding what the message is, what are you missing? Okay? You're missing a GPA, you're missing access to your college, you're missing access to high-paying jobs, you're missing all of these things. And at the end of that, life becomes long. Because I tell you what, sitting at Sam's Club pushing boxes and moving stuff every day, life was long at that point for me. Life was long. It wasn't too short. Every day was like one long continuous day at Sam's Club. So the message today is going to be, how can you push your teachers? How can you ask your teachers to give you a little bit more? How can you tell your teachers to be better? Not only for you, but for them. So all the times I'm talking to teachers and they want to throw out all of these ideas about we should do this and we should do that and how we structure our classroom and we need structures in place and I have to have control. I have to have control of the classroom. When they come in, they got to know this is it. It's my classroom. I have control. So we want to try to change that. We want to try to change that and we need you to be a part of it. All of my teachers on my campus, they plan together. None of them plan with their students. They don't come in and walk in the door and lay out the 6 weeks and say, okay, class, it's my 6 weeks plan, and this is what we need to do, so I want you to start picking activities that best suit your needs. We don't do that. We don't do that. So let's rewind 30 years. I walk into kindergarten at Cimarron Elementary. I'm about this tall, well, probably a little bit, about that tall at that time. I walk in, very shy kid. Mom's a single mom at home trying to raise kids. Didn't know a lot about school, didn't know a lot about education, and I didn't fit. I went in and there's tables set up and there's stations and there's things all over the board and I'm mesmerized. And so I go sit in my corner. And so the whole year passes where I'm just sitting there and I'm not learning and I'm not engaging and nothing I do really matters. And bless that teacher's heart, she was trying, there was so many activities going on and so much all over the boards, and she was doing her best. But it wasn't working for me. It wasn't working for me. And somehow by the skin of my teeth, or maybe she just felt sorry for me, I went to the first grade. So the next year starts off, same thing. I walk in, 2 or 3 weeks go by, and I'm still sitting by myself. Nothing has changed. I'm still not learning. I still don't have an idea about what I'm really there for. And then one day, as I'm walking in the class, she stops me, and her name was Miss Taylor. She stops me, and she said, hey, I need you to do me a favor today. And I said, okay. I said, see that table over there? And I shook my head, because I didn't talk much. I want you to sit at that table. That's where all the smart kids sit, and I need you to sit there for me today. And I don't want you to worry about anything that you see in the classroom, because the smart kids are going to do something a little different today, and I want you to do what they're doing. And so I thought there was a mistake, because me and smart at the time didn't go together. So I walked over there and I sat at the smart table. I said, well, she's a teacher and she knows what she's talking about. Maybe I am smart. Maybe I am supposed to be here. So she proceeded to help me do all of the activities on the board in a different way. And copying down the vocabulary and copying down the sentences, all the things that weren't working for me, she changed them. And so now I was doing activities that had a little bit more hands-on feel. She's let me use items in the classroom. I was up out of my seat, and I began to learn. And at the time, she probably didn't know what it was, but it was differentiation. She was tailoring her classroom to me. And I didn't know enough to ask, but she understood that. She understood that. And I began to learn. And she tricked me into believing that I was smart, which at the time was a difficult task. And ever since then, I've always believed that I was smart. Now, my wife may tell you different, but I've always believed that I was smart. And all it took was one instance with one teacher. Fast forward 20 years. My life is long. I'm still at Sam's Club. I decide, you know what? I really like to be around kids. Played basketball. I like to coach. Maybe I'll get into teaching. So I take my first teaching job. And English was my subject. So I was an English teacher. I walk into class. I'm so excited. Sophomore English. The kids don't know me. I'm really tall and thin and look very young, so they're kind of don't know what to make of me. We come up to Julius Caesar, and obviously kids are not crazy about Shakespeare, and so I go all out. I mean, I got costumes, everything's on the board, everything's ready to go. I go all out. Vocab's written down, we act it out, we do everything. We take a quiz. Quizzes are horrible. Everybody's in the 30s, everybody's in the 40s. I just can't. What is going on? I don't know. So I redo it. Do it again, same way, same thing, everything's all out. Same thing. Test comes around, miserable grades. Horrible. And I don't understand why. I'm putting all the effort I can into this project, into this class, and I'm getting bad results. And none of the students said anything. I think they knew I was working hard, so they didn't really give me much trouble, which I appreciate. But they never said, what you're doing is not working for our class. What you're doing is not working for our class, okay? So next assignment came up. It was a short story assignment. And I said, well, maybe I just need to slow it down. So I did the exact same thing. I just did it really slow. So instead of taking 3 weeks on it, we took 6 weeks. Exact same results. And that year progressed as a first-year teacher, and I never realized the mistakes I was making because my kids never said, hey, Mr. Fernandez, we just don't understand what you're doing. We don't understand. And that's what the message is here today. You have to let your teachers know. And there's a way to do it. I'm not saying, Mr. Fernandez, you're horrible. You need to go do something else. Sam's is calling you. Go on back to Sam's. I'm not saying that. What I'm asking you to do is take advantage of the opportunity that you have every day, because a lot is riding on it. A lot is riding on it. When you step out into that real world and you have college professors that are going to lecture you for 3 hours, you have to say something, because education needs to change. Teachers need to plan with students, not only their colleagues. They need to plan with you about what you do best, about how you interact, about what your needs are as a student. And if they can't do that and they can't change, education is going to be a long road downhill, and life becomes very long. The day goes on, and nothing changes. So you have to change what's going on in that classroom. Teachers need to hear your voice. They need to hear what you need, and you need to express when you're not learning. Because if you don't say anything, guess what? Julius Caesar 3 or 4 times, and nothing gets done. That's my message today. I want you to think about it, whether you're a senior, a junior, or you're going on to your next level in college, a boss, it doesn't matter. If you're not learning, you're wasting opportunities. I'm still waiting on my tiger cub, so that's my goal, is to buy my tiger and live in my big house. Thank you for your time today.